Good morning, Tina Mitchell here, your local mortgage expert and your host of Coffee with a Superstar. My show is with real estate agents for real estate agents. I interview the best of the best in the industry so you can hear what they're doing and how they're doing it. Each week I travel to my superstar's office to invite you behind the scenes of their business. And this week my superstar is Britt Wibmer. Britt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, absolutely. Anything for you, Tina.
Thank you so much. She's so sweet. All right, a little bit about Britt. Britt is principal broker at Britt Wibmer Real Estate Group with Realogics, Sothebys, International Realty. Equipped with 17 back-to-back years as a top producer broker, Britt capitalizes on her expertise, her Rolodex, and her strong negotiation skills to help clients achieve their real estate objectives. Focused on West Bellevue and Greater Seattle area, Britt provides a luxury real estate experience at all price points. Britt's passion is maximizing her clients' real estate investments and making each real estate journey a positive one. So a little bit about Britt. And Britt, I always like to start out with my interview and ask, what do you credit your success to?
Oh, it's just a lot of hard work and thinking outside of the box. So my background is actually in high tech prior to getting into real estate, and my degree is in international business and marketing. So when I came into the business, I was dead set on being innovative, to always come up with new ideas, and to put those ideas into motion, it takes a lot of hard work. And so it's putting in the hours, it's doing the follow-up. It's really, it's hard work and also trying to think differently than your competition.
Yeah, and if you hear what Britt's saying, because I think that's so important, is you need to do something different than your competitors are doing, and you have to have a plan of what that's going to look like. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I know that your marketing and what you do is unique, and you had said you follow through. So a lot of times, not just in real estate, but as entrepreneurs, it's easy to have these brilliant, great ideas. There's all these aha moments and things, but really being able to implement and put that into action. And then once into action, to actually follow through with that plan, staying connected with the process, staying connected with the opportunities. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and consistency is key. Yeah. And believe me, I have more ideas than I've actually implemented. Yes. Because we can be full of a lot of hot air.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's really the production that we put out there. And so, yeah, it's beyond a good idea. It's then looking at how is that going to incrementally increase my business? Yes. Is that going to incrementally help my clients have a better experience? So it's really looking at the ideas, deciding which to pursue, and then, I'm very much into the look and feel of my marketing and how it is perceived. And so I spend a lot of time on really perfecting anything that I do. So, of course, I'm going out to the luxury market, and these are people that are,
you got to be a step up.
They've seen it all. It's not their first time to this baseball game, or however you want to say it. So, really coming at it from an extremely professional level, but also innovative.
Yeah, and your brand. I mean, you really protect your brand and what that looks like in the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were just talking before we started here this morning with Coffee with a Superstar, and Britt had asked me how I came up with the idea of Coffee with a Superstar. And we were talking about, I come up with one game changer a year. And so do you find that in working on that, implementing and monitoring and see if it's going to work, and all of the things that I do in my business that are staple now, starting with a game changer, but there are so many game changers that never took off. We gave it a year, we tried, it was like, okay, that sounded really brilliant, but not so much. Yeah. So you've got to really give it everything that you have. You've got to get enough time to see if it's going to work. And when it doesn't, you have to let it go and be ready to pull from something else. Is that correct?
It is, and it's all. You can also reinvent an idea that may have started to trickle down. So I'll tell you a quick story about my Britt's Picks videos. When I first got into the business, I had, of course, no clients, but I'd seen a lot of great homes, and so I was just trying to think about, how do I get the word out that I'd seen these great homes? How do I connect with people? And so I started an email list. If I saw something unique or I thought was a great value, I'd make it a Britt's Picks. And so that worked for a certain number of years, but then things started to, it just felt stale. And people have to be interested enough to open up your emails.
Of course.
And so at one point, then I decided, I'm going to try to transition this into video. So then when I moved it into video, I started playing with the format. Of course, people get excited about getting the Britt's Picks videos, but then it starts losing steam.
Yes.
Again, so it's on a good idea. You still have to keep reinventing it, otherwise the people aren't going to be interested. So
true.
And as a matter of fact, I'm currently working on a new iteration of my Britt's Picks videos. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Love that.
But I just, even for myself, of course, we are our own worst critic, and I've been watching these videos, and I could see the kind of the tapering of my own energy, and so one of the things that I, you have to be behind what you're putting out there, and so when I see myself or feel myself not being that inspired by it anymore, I got to do a new iteration. So yes, absolutely, it's reinventing, it's seeing things through, but also being able to pivot and make a change when you think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I love that. And it's always making things better. There's new technology that comes out. Like you said, if you're not excited about what you're putting out anymore because it gets stale, then it's time to to upgrade it. Exactly. We've been, I've had our radio show for almost a decade now, and we just finally upscaled to have Victoria come in and do behind the scenes, and it's totally taken the digital.
I have been on the behind the scenes. So it's great.
Okay. So, but you always have to take it to that next level to keep the excitement for you and keep your audience excited.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And how else would you say in creating a new marketing plan that you're coming in with? What is your success to actually getting to the implementation of it?
Oh, I have a team behind me.
Okay.
So this is not a single person at the helm. I don't sit around doing design. I have really strived to create a background. For instance, I'm using the Realogics Sothebys brand that my brokerage is. We have a marketing department, which I'm able to provide my ideas. Then I get the marketing back, and we play around with that. I work with Denise Lonis and her team, because they are really great with systems and systematizing and really kind of going back to the basics, more so than I've done in the past. I never did any marketing, like email. I've done a lot of email marketing, but not a lot of postcards or the classics. So I'm looking at doing something like that through the Denise Lonis group. And then I also have my wonderful assistant / director of operations. She really is the communicator between the marketing and me. So it's really about creating a team, and that's really how I've got my marketing to look like.
I love that. Is because anybody that's successful, you notice that's kind of a staple and a standard is having a team to support you and take advantage of your office and the resources that they have. Hire people part of the team so that you can really stay focused on the high level activities.
If I spent my time, which I used to, I will say that you get to a certain level and suddenly it no longer makes financial sense to do some of these things yourself. But I built my own website back in the day. I've done all the things, and I know what it takes to get there. So I think I have an appreciation level of people that really know what they're doing in their area of expertise.
But if you were to look back to those days and you were to think, I should have hired somebody at that time. Would you agree with that, or no?
Coming from the technology background, I just really enjoyed
so maybe
doing
it's a
that
little different for you because you have that.
I wouldn't recommend that for everybody, but for me, at that moment in time, I really enjoyed getting my fingers wet. But now there's no way back.
Well, Britt mentioned Denise Lonis, and that's actually when I saw you up on her stage at her annual event as her rock star. I was like, oh my gosh, because she's Denise's rock star, she has to be a superstar for the Coffee with a Superstar.
This is so exciting, by the way. This is going somewhere very, very special in my home.
Thank you. Well, so deserving of it.
Thank you.
We actually have Denise coming in for our Power Hour Lunch and Learn, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. So Victoria will post a link here on this show if you want to come in and have a great lunch and hang out with Denise, because she is coaching a lot of the the superstars in our market. So she really knows her stuff.
And I've been going to Denise's seminars for many, many years. Oh gosh, I've been in the business for 17 years, and she's been around for at least that long.
Oh, she's been around over 3 decades. She has.
We don't need to give any.
I've heard her say that. So the reason I say rocking over 2 decades is because I heard her say rocking over 3 decades, and I'm like, why am I saying 20 years? I'm going to say over 2 decades.
Absolutely. So, and I'm fast approaching.
Yes.
But what I would say is, her, even if you're just going for a lunch and learn, you will get something out of that time.
Always.
That is a good nugget to take with you. And working with her as a coach has been good too.
Yes.
I really love the systems, and that's something that I was lacking in my business. That I feel like I'm every real estate agent and every entrepreneur has what they're great at, what they excel at, and what they need to work on. And definitely over the years, I've found that as my business has grown, the need for very solid systems has become more and more vital.
Yes.
So this is still what I'm working on.
Yeah, I love it. I've heard one of our presenters, financial planner, mention GPS in a different format, but I've taken it on GPS for my 1-time year business. If we start backwards, S is for systems plus P for process equals G for growth. So you cannot have the growth that you're looking for in your business and in your life without having the system and process, because that's what gets you there. So
interesting. I believe that.
Yeah. So Britt, let's talk about a challenge, recent or not, it doesn't matter, but what's a challenge that you've had to face in your business, even with all the success that you have had and you're having now, and how did you overcome that challenge?
Oh gosh, what challenges haven't I faced? How about that?
What was your biggest challenge?
My favorite challenge? Well, I think anybody who's been in the business any length of time went through the downturn in the market, the mortgage crisis. That was absolutely a stunner for a lot of us, especially new in the business. I got in the business in 2003, and seeing a lot of great growth. By 2006, I was doing incredible amounts of business at a pretty young age, and then when it all stopped, I had my spending and my, let's just not even talk about business spending, but you start extending yourself to a certain point, and then
it's going to always be.
It's always going to be that way. So definitely from that very scary moment in time in my personal life and my business life, that really got me to be very conscientious about budgeting now. And in all bad times there is a silver lining, and I definitely think that even in my current success, not taking that for granted and knowing that this might change, and it is changing as we see.
As we were looking at the charts before we came online today, I mean, it's just funny. It always, no matter how far you go back, there's up and down,
ebbs and flows, and quite frankly, our business has been under fire as commissions have been shrinking. The business has been inundated with a lot of new tech plays, and we just have to keep being innovative ourselves. But then I don't want to say preparing for the worst, but just being smart about how we're looking at the future.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, totally agree. And I, like how you mentioned the financial meltdown and the crisis, and how there's always a silver lining. There is a silver lining if you're looking for it, and I think that's what I learned in that market, that every bad market, the worse the market is, the more opportunity that there is for growth as a person and as business. And so what a great takeaway that you took from that.
Well, and I'll go a step further, because I always look at how other people are doing in the business, and what are they doing that I could grow from.
Yes.
And one person, and Nate, I hope you're watching, Nate Short, I remember this, everything was crumbling, and here's Nate Short's signs everywhere on all the short sales. And he did something that I thought was
Nate Short sales, I love it.
No, what he did was he had seen a trend, and then he went to one of the main banks, who was housing a lot of the short sale contracts, and so he became their number one real estate broker. So how brilliant is that? So I'm always, kind of taken a little lesson from him and like, okay, the market's shifting in this way. How can I position myself to take advantage or, you know,
be there to support the people that need you when the other people, there's not support that's needed anymore because the market is shifting.
Yeah, so it's for me, it's always looking for that element that no one else is looking for.
Yeah, well, that, I mean, actually my superstar last week, Phil, that we were talking about, he said that that's his success is he's constantly adjusting and changing his target market based on where the need is at, and that's exactly what you're saying.
Well,
and the people that were killing it in the market, because there were people that were killing it during the financial meltdown. They were there for a totally different market that I don't know who's experienced it at that level, where that's the only people that were buying out there.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You know, and they were doing 100+ homes a year in a market where everybody else was closing up shop.
Absolutely. You know? So I have one more thing to talk about with regard to this.
You can talk anything about you want. It's all about you.
Of course, it just. Now I've forgotten it. So let's continue on with the questions.
God,
I know it was so good. It was a good nugget too, but I will come to it.
Oh my God! Do you have to do with short sales?
No, it came about reinventing, but that's okay. Let's move on to your next question.
Okay, we'll come back. I'm sorry, that was probably totally me. You can go off script. Okay, so let's talk about a great marketing tip with all of the great marketing things that you're doing. If you were talking to an agent, whether they're new or they're seasoned, it doesn't matter. Something that you have seen has been great for you in your marketing efforts.
Okay, well, I would definitely say I'm big on branding. So for me, I needed to create a brand around me as a broker that was consistent with the image I wanted to portray, and it was something that was recognizable.
Yeah.
Everybody struggles with picking because there's limitless opportunities, but for me it was Britt's Picks because it was, it was catchy, people could remember it, and I get caught on the street. Britt's Picks. It's so. I mean, it's nice to have something like that. So I would say try to do something marketing-wise, branding-wise around yourself that is consistent with what the image that you want to portray, that would be attractive to the clientele that you're wanting to attract. And then also to that, getting really specific on what kind of business you're wanting to do.
Of course.
And so not just throwing a ball at the wall, it's really like thinking about who you want your target audience to be. And by the way, I just thought of it's just being when we were talking about pivoting and looking at different opportunities in a down market. So last year around January, let's just say the last quarter of last year, when the market was really sagging, there was tons of inventory, and generally my business is listing. I do a lot of listings, but at that moment I was like, my listings aren't selling. I've got to do something different. So I made an intention that I wanted to start working with buyers. And it's just once you mentally shift where your intentions are, I've done a lot of buyer business this year, which is more than I have in the last probably 10 years. And it's been fun. But now I want to get back to listings because the market's
so you were shifting yourself. The listings were staying on there longer, which meant the buyers, there were more opportunity, and all these buyers that couldn't do something now could. And
absolutely,
I love that intention. What we think about definitely we attract.
I was seeing great listings just flounder, and I'm thinking, gosh, if I just had some buyers to bring out to these properties, and they could get a really good deal.
Yes.
And so that's my inspiration is beyond. Well, of course, I love doing business, but also I love the negotiation, the getting my clients good pricing. That just makes me so happy.
Yeah, so awesome. And I'd like to also have the audience here today, especially for the real estate agents that are listening, because I know it's been 17 years, but it doesn't matter if it was 17 years or it was 2 years ago. It's still going to be the same dynamic story. And I want you to share how, coming in new into the industry, how you wanted to go after luxury. Can you just spend a couple minutes talking about that journey? Because I think it can be of great inspiration to our listeners.
Sure. Well, I was obviously, before I got into real estate, I was doing something completely different, and I was invited to a dinner party at Obi Jacoby's home. thank you, Hiobe, president of Windermere. And at that moment, I always wanted to live in Laurelhurst, and I got to go to this beautiful waterfront compound in Laurelhurst, and I'm looking around thinking, this is what I need to do.
Yes.
If real estate gets me to this, this is what I need to do. So I got my real estate license probably 2 weeks later, and I spent a lot of time in just average real estate. I did a lot of years selling $300,000 to $600,000 homes, and then continued to ratchet up my business. But when of course I had kind of put the luxury dream behind me, but never the money dream. The luxury dream behind me. But when I moved school districts for one of my sons who has autism, and Bellevue School District has the best public schools for special needs. When I moved over to Bellevue, that is actually when kind of the lightning struck, and I thought, gosh, what have I been doing? And I don't want to say that those clients are equally as important to me. Of course. I love so many great relationships that I've built, but as a single mom, why not go big? And every moment is of equal value. If you can be making more money with every moment that you're awake working, why not? And also I very much resonate toward the luxury market, and it was just kind of a lightning moment where I was like, let's go there. And of course, people told me that market's really hard to get into. Everybody wants to be in luxury. Yes. Why wouldn't they? Yes. So a lot of feedback about the competitive nature of it, and I just strapped on my seatbelt and I went for it.
So, and what do you think it was do you think it was strapping on your seatbelt and not loosening it up that enabled you to actually conquer that market versus majority would not even put their seatbelt on because everybody's telling them they can't do it? What do you credit? What did you do to actually see the success in that market?
Well, number one, I look at everybody as equal. I don't look at someone who's really killing it in the luxury market as anything better than me, anyone better than me. They just have more experience than me, maybe, or they've grown up a different way, or there's so many different things that put people in the position that they're at. Yes. So, but I never looked at them as better, and so we're all equal. It's just you do have to put the time in. I've put the time in. And I've really listened to people that tell me I can't do something. As a matter of fact, that aches me on more. It inspires me, and it makes me work harder. And to say that I've conquered this market, I think I'm still
You've been very, very successful.
I'm thrilled that I have done the business that I have, and I continue to have great experiences with clients, and they keep telling more people about me. So it's just a matter of time. It's one step at a time for me. Once I say the word conquer, that means I'm done.
That's true. So, reword it. You've done very well in the luxury market,
and
you're
continuing
to capture more every day that you come into the office.
Exactly.
Is that better?
Yes, I love that.
Yes, yeah. So she made it a decision on the market she was going to go after. She built up her confidence that she could do it. She didn't listen to the naysayers that said she couldn't do it. She put together a brand and a marketing where she could be unique and different than other people that were in that market. Because no matter what market you're in, people are in that market. No different between a first-time home buyer market and a luxury market that are in it. And then she kept at it every day, getting up and making a decision that she was going to take that next step to make it happen, and then it did. And so I have
a couple more little nuggets for our audience here. I had moved over to Bellevue and had spent a little bit over a year looking at every home that came on the market. Because at the time, I didn't really even know what the difference between a $2.5 million home was and a $3.5 million home. This is all expensive to me.
Yes.
So, if you're going to go into any market and claim that you're an expert, you really have to be an expert. So make sure that you're seeing the properties that you're going to be hopefully representing in the future, because the homeowner is always going to be smarter than you with regard to their home in their neighborhood. So you need to know, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Homebuyer or seller, you know, the house down the street sold a year and a half ago, and I was in that home, and you know, so you can really come out as a market expert. You need to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk in whatever market.
And that builds your confidence as well.
Absolutely.
You can't go in out of confidence that, especially when you're getting into a market like luxury, just because you have to really step up your game for that. So the behind the scenes work that you do to prepare before you're getting your foot into that market, yes, critically important. Yeah. So Britt, what about a call to action that you would give to an agent listening? Again, whether they're new or they're seasoned, they just want to get their business to that next level. What would be your call to action that you'd have them do?
I definitely believe in touring. That's how I got started with my Bricks picks. Like, I see all these great properties and really feel this need to get the word out. And how I got into luxury, it's touring. And so I believe, for me, homes inspire me, and also people inspire me. And so when I'm getting to know the client, or getting to know even the people in your circle of influence, being able to connect at home to those people in your sphere, and even if it's not, you know, maybe they're not actually in the buy cycle right now, maybe they're not in the sales cycle, but you know, people love homes. And so if you want to make yourself be an expert in their eyes, why not say, hey, Susie, I saw this house, I know you're not in the market, why don't we just go check it out? I think it would be fun to go on a tour together. I think that would be my nugget. Just try to connect with your sphere of influence in an expert level. Because convincing people that you know what you're doing, especially at the beginning, can be hard. So
the biggest battle. So do what you love to do. Hopefully you're passionate about real estate, and share that with people that might be looking at buying and selling in the future, but make it in a fun way. You know, Britt's picks, or you know, whatever that is, in finding that you can really connect in a fun way. And with social media now, I mean, we need to be on social media, we need to be embracing it, and how much fun is it? And I don't think is much on the social media for cold business. I think that's a whole nother challenge. You really got to talk with somebody that knows that. But I look at social media as being able to connect with people that already know you. And to be able to build your brand, build yourself as the expert that you are. That's really the benefit. And you've got to get out there on video. I mean, wouldn't you agree? That's a must.
Absolutely. You know, and I think all of us know that, and it's just a matter of practice. And you know, it's hard to pick up your phone for the first time after a long time. And by the way, I haven't done a Facebook Live in quite some time, so thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, you have to get comfortable, and and I've seen people do it well, and I've seen people do it not so well. If you're going Facebook Live, in my opinion, you still need to come out like an expert.
Of course.
People want to work with people that they trust and feel like they are representative of them. And so if you're coming out with something that's just absolutely off the wall and not professional, I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
So maybe be careful with the Facebook Live until you've built that comfort. And you know, do some preparing. I mean, it's like anything else. You're not going to go do a listing presentation without preparing that first. And then you've got your template that you work with, and then it's just, you know, then it's adjusting it unique to the client's needs. But same thing with video. You're not going to just get on without really be thinking about and practicing what you're going to do. And then it becomes natural, just like any conversation that you have with anyone else.
And you know, there's so many examples out there. Look at other people's. Of course, I don't try to copycat, but I do like to watch and kind of pick out the best of the best. And so that's how I prepare for things like this. I watched your videos prior to coming here. So yeah, go and look to see what you think would be impactful for your Facebook friends, and go that way.
I always say we don't come up with our own brilliant ideas. We are inspired and motivated by others. Making it our own is the brilliance. So get out there, and and it's, I mean, if you look at anybody, any great, brilliant idea, they were all behind the scenes. They were motivated and inspired by others. So get out there, get motivated and inspired. That's really what this space is for. Coffee with a Superstar is to interview the best of the best in the industry, so that you can be motivated and inspired by their actions, what they're doing, and any superstar is willing to share. And I just appreciate you being here and sharing with our listeners, Britt.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, and thank you for listening. You can call me.
You can call Britt. Call or email Britt.
BrittsPicks.com.
Exactly. You definitely need to check that out. Well, thank you for being here this morning for this week's Coffee with a Superstar. I look forward to sharing with you another superstar next week at a different location. And make it a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.